11 a.m. I get into the office late. It was a rough night. The clubhouse is on the horn. I decided to cram in as much film noir lingo as I could into the conversation. They say a scientist has gone missing, a wisehead, a goofy cat, goes by the name of Lalna, last seen in a nearby farm. High reward. Perfect. I check the rumble, that means newspaper, for any leads. Suddenly my receptionist calls me. She's a tough little number, built like a brick. Tells me a lady wants to see me. In walks a classy dame. She's soft on her feet and soft in the eyes. Goes by the name Lomadia. I could see she needed my help. Plus, she then said, I need your help, which clued me in real good. She says she's never been to a private eye before. I tell her I'm the greatest gumshoe in the land, no matter what anyone else says. Claims her owls were missing. Yeah, owls. Shows me a feather. Frankly, I didn't give a hoot. I had a more important case to solve. She goes on and on about the owls, claim they'll be suffering without her. But she can't even offer me a reward, so what was the point? I've had enough. I excuse myself, and I tell Cindy to call the dame a cab. Least I could do was make sure she got home safely. I tip my hat to the kittens. That means women. And I decided to check out the farm. Waiting for me is my old friend, a cop, a dinosaur. His name was Teep. We drank from the same bottle. Never did find out how a dinosaur got onto the force, but the results spoke for themselves, because he also couldn't talk. I eye up the situation. Local shadow broker by the name of Rithian is in bracelets. That means handcuffs. Turns out, he was the last one that saw Lalna alive. Assuming he's dead, which hopefully he isn't, that would suck. He pleads innocence. I ain't seen nothing, he squeals. A nod to my friend, that poor sap will be spending a night in the big house, even though it was actually quite small. Time to check out the scene. Truth is, the police chief didn't very much like me poking around, but I knew Teep would keep him away. A cat? Blood? Was that blood? No, it was ketchup. There were quite a few feathers strewn about the place, and an armchair tipped over. Almost seems like some kind of contraption was built upon this block, some kind of force field, perhaps. I had studied a bit of science back home, so this wasn't completely alien to me. As I entered through the barn doors, I noticed a cute little button standing there scared. Later found out her name was Lily. She didn't talk much. She was like a cross between Teep and Cindy, built like a brick, and didn't say a word. I carried on my search through to a makeshift room. It had a bed and a fridge. I'm not quite sure who would live in these conditions. I checked under the bed. Nothing. Checked in the fridge, but I couldn't bust it open. If there was anything in here, it was jammed in there tight. I decided my best move would be to trace the trail of feathers and ketchup, see where it leads. I was led to a forest on the outskirts of the farm. I'm immediately greeted by a strange little jasper that went by the name of Honeydew. He was riding a pig, and as I approached him, he burst out crying. "It's just not the same," I heard him say amidst his sobs and screams. I was intrigued. I asked him what was wrong. Turns out he used to own another pig. That too had gone missing. He claimed it could soar through the skies. Yeah, right. I believe that when pigs flied. Anyway, it still gave me a lead. I had a new trail to sniff, and it smelled like bacon. The trail stopped cold, just outside a local dive that went by the name of the Captive Creeper. It was a pretty shady joint, known for a couple of jokers who used to drink there regularly. Mob bosses claimed they owned all the dirt in the land, but I had no choice. I enter just as a local canary finishes her performance. Canary means singer. She went by the name of Jigglypuff. I couldn't stand her. It was the Jailhouse 6's time on the stage. Tipped my hat to him and tried to avoid a glance from the two jokers seated nearby. Put up a bar stool. Started chatting to the bar owner, a dolly by the name of Minty Minute. Dolly means woman. I asked her if she's seen any crazy scientists around here, maybe a pig. She stares me cold in the eye, says she doesn't have to say anything to me. I'm not a cop. Unfortunately, she was right, but I had a feeling I should stick around. I had no other choice but to talk to the mobsters. One word passed my lips, and they're already laughing at me. This wasn't going anywhere. I glanced around. There was no bacon, no feathers. What was I missing? Then I saw it. Pushed under the bar. A small ball of white wool. A clue. Finally. With this wool, I could follow a new trail that led to a sheep. A sheep? Ringo! The Jailhouse 6. Something didn't add up. 2 animals were missing. Fishton and Ringo. But I was missing. I was a singer in the Jailhouse 6. I only just realized. I was late for my performance. I donned the saxophone. I started a solo. My bandmates were not impressed, and the mobsters just laughed at me some more. I told them to put on something familiar. Here we go, boys. That dinosaur was crazy with his gun locked on my head. And then my memory's hazy and how I'm left with just this bed. I'm now in mushroom prison and Rivian, he ain't heard. And the dinosaur just keeps on, not saying a word. I was interrupted. Suddenly Ravs barged through, clamoring and shouting, screaming about his squids missing. He barged through the stage, jumped straight to Minty, claimed that she had stolen his squid. I tried to calm him down, telling him a lot of animals were missing. It didn't necessarily mean Minty had done it. But he wasn't listening. He was throwing his glass all over the place, making a huge mess. Although it was standing perfectly straight somehow. There we go. I decided to leave for now. I picked up the wool and tried to follow a new trail. Knowing what to look for, I immediately discovered a new trail. Calamari. Squid. But how could Ravs have possibly missed it? There was wool, too. I was back on track. Everything seemed connected. Whoever took these animals must surely have taken Lalna, too. I had to hurry. My darling Fishton was missing. And then I heard it. The slow, steady beat of that drum. Ringo leapt out of the alleyway. He was a loose cannon, but a darn good drummer. I tried to keep him busy, occupied, hoping he would tire out, but he was relentless. Luckily, I had heat, a pistol. I always carried it for situations like these. I tried to fire a warning shot. Nothing! It seemed as if the sheep was out of his mind. He's bad, but he wouldn't attack me for no reason. I had no choice. It was time to put him in the cooler. That means jail. I tried talking to him and he just bars incessantly, but he immediately snapped out of it as soon as I showed him my cuffs. Slowly but surely, I secured the sheep. It was time to bring him in. This is gonna take a while. Finally, I made it to the pen. I tried to explain to the screw at the door that this was a dangerous criminal, but I had no authority here. Police Chief Zephos doesn't like all the snooping around I've been doing, so I've made a few important people uneasy. I was stuck. Out of options. Suddenly, my pal on the force, the dinosaur, Teep, he starts pounding on the door. The guard knows not to mess with a hungry, annoyed dinosaur, says I can go through. I follow Teep to the cells. The Shadow Broker's in the first one. But I'm surprised to see the Squid, Ravs, in the second cell. He explains that the feds think he's been trying to pin the missing squids on someone else, and they think he, in fact, is the one responsible. I send Ringo into the third cell. There they are. The lineup. The 3 R's. Rithian, Ravs, Ringo. It could be any 3 of them. Rithian has motive, but so does Ravs. He could be trying to run Minty out of her business. And then there's the loose cannon, Ringo. Who knows what he's capable of? I need answers. I needed help. If only I had a way to see the thoughts of the general public. I'd ask them who they think it is. Why, it could be anyone. It could even be... you. Teep shook his head. It wasn't him.